going to tell you about a kind of language learning impairment called specific language impairment, or SLI for short. This is a kind of difficulty with understanding of language, learning language, and with talking. Now, children who have specific language impairment can do well at other kinds of activities, for example, sport, music, making things, art, and making friends. SLI is something of a puzzle. It's not caused by a hearing loss or by a physical disease. Most children who have SLI have difficulties with talking, so with putting words together in spoken sentences, and these are called expressive language difficulties. Some children have difficulties with understanding what people are saying, and these are called receptive language difficulties. Receptive language difficulties often aren't obvious, but a child may only be picking up the odd word here and there and may not be fully understanding what people are saying. There are many different aspects of language that can be affected in SLI, and a speech and language therapist can assess a child to identify exactly what the difficulties are. Some children have difficulties working out the meanings of words, and they may get confused if people use long or more complicated vocabulary. It may be difficult for a child to understand longer or more complex sentences. And some children have difficulties called word-finding difficulties. This is where they know a word and they know the meaning of a word, but they can't remember it and can't access it readily. Children with specific language impairment tend to talk in simpler sentences and may miss off grammatical endings of words. For example, saying, "Yesterday I play in the park," rather than "played in the park." Some children with SLI also have difficulties with speaking clearly, so their speech may sound immature or difficult to understand. If a child with SLI has these kind of speech problems, these often improve as they get older. Because there are no obvious symptoms, SLI is a hidden disability. Children with SLI sometimes can't respond to the things that people say, and if people don't understand what their difficulties are, they can perhaps think that they're being lazy or misbehaving. It's really important, therefore, that we pick up if a child has a specific language impairment. Also, it's easy to assume that if a child has difficulties talking, then they're going to have difficulties with doing all other things, when in fact children with SLI often have talents in other areas, and it's really important that we support children to develop these talents and progress in areas where they can have success.
Professionals working with them. Question to connections. Do you feel that SLI is readily understood by colleges?
I've done some research on this, and although colleges locally in Hertfordshire have said that they understand or have some experience of young people with dyslexia and can actually put support in place, when it comes to specific language impairment, there seems to be a general, well, we really don't know about that, and nothing much is, we haven't come across it before, or know how to support it particularly. So I think the answer is no there.
What is the impact of SLI? A communication disorder can affect all areas of life: education, emotional, confidence, self-esteem, social interaction, and literacy, and of course, future potential. Question to a student with SLI. How would you describe speech and language difficulties?
Well, in my view, I think speech and language is when you try to get out what you want to say, but you don't quite know how. That's in some cases. When you know what you want to say, all these words jumbled up in your head, but you can't actually speak it. Not because you don't know how, it's just you've got to find a way to do so. And also speech and language is understanding the
My name's Anne McSweeney. I'm the Senior Speech Pathologist here at the Glenleadon School. I've been here since July 1992. Communication is an essential in our daily lives, and our children have severe communication difficulties, preventing them from interacting with their families and the wider community. These difficulties are also associated with an inability to progress through formal learning processes, and speech therapy provides support and strategies to assist the children to overcome the obstacles they encounter. Private speech pathology is expensive. It's available on private health covers, but rebates don't always cover the full costs. It is frustrating to learn about the number of families in the community who have the need for such a service but are unable to access easily. Our school is unique, and it is the only one of its kind in Australia providing a multidisciplinary therapy educational service for the children with primary language disorders. My role here at the Glenleadon School as a speech pathologist is to provide specific therapy designed to meet individual speech and language needs. Therapy sessions are geared differently to meet the needs of each student and are different in each school level. Class groups are small and the students receive a variety of speech and language programs. I've had a range of success stories since I started at the Glenleadon School, and having been here for so long, I've seen students pass through from preschool to the end of their schooling and entering the workforce. Other students have integrated into the mainstream schools. They have all worked extremely hard with the combined efforts of their families to achieve these successful outcomes.